Hey, yo, so check this out, man. We're headed to Fort Worth, Texas to do an interview with Mr. JT, who actually happens to be Steve Harvey's barber back when he had the coldest hairline in the industry. And so we're getting the opportunity to be able to really just go and get an interview with him and get some game from someone who's been in the industry and who has actually have a lot of experience along with just a lot of exposure. And you know, I like to always say that exposure leads to expansion. If you're not getting exposed, I think you can very well be stagnant. So today we're getting the opportunity to kind of sit down and talk to Mr. JT to get some real game, and I can't wait to show you what's up. Peace.
More than just a barber. Hottest show that's not just in the streets. Make sure y'all tap in.
So listen, as we stated, we're going to get right into it with Mr. JT himself. As you know, this has become more of a mentor of mine from a distance, up close. We're right here in Fort Worth, Texas at Mr. Williams Barber College. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time.
Okay.
Mr. JT is a very busy man,
Yes, sir.
but we wanted to get right into this episode because I think that you all that are streaming today can really partake in some game, some wisdom. I mean, off camera, he was dropping some gems. And so I think it is worth our audience pretty much getting into this conversation.
Okay, well, I'm down. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so Mr. JT, you've been in the game for quite some time, as we mentioned before, and you have a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of experience. And offline, you told me there's a difference between being a barber and a good hair cutter.
Yeah, and a lot of people think if they're just a good hair cutter, that makes them a great barber. But being a great barber encompasses all of that. You know, like I say, showing up on time.
Yes.
Dressing professional, talking professional, using great products, using great tools, you know, all the things that go along with being any professional, you know, because if you think about the history and where we came from and the people who get, you know, the prestige that they get, a lot of doctors and people like that, well, that's where we came from. We actually were doctors and surgeons and dentists and, you know, also barbers.
Sure.
And so that's our history. And so I want people to know that and understand that so they don't treat it like a hustle. I heard the word hustle. You know, I'm out here, you know, in this barber game or, you know, all these type of things that they call it.
Yeah.
But we actually are professional barbers is what we are. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's so funny because when people ask me, what do I do for a living? I honestly don't just say a barber. I use the term, funny you say that, I use the term, I'm a professional barber.
Right, absolutely.
I'm a professional barber.
Right. So that's who we are. And so, like I say, I cringe sometimes when I hear people say, you know, I'm in this barber hustle or this barber game. You know, it's a barber profession. You know.
Why do you think from when you were just coming into the industry, like your mindset, as I'm listening to you talk, your mindset is this was a profession for you all.
Yeah. And it may be the fact that I came from a whole line of barbers. Like my grandfather was a barber.
Oh, wow.
My father was a barber.
Wow.
My uncle was a barber.
So it's in the blood.
It's in my blood. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And since then, you know, I become a barber. I got a younger brother that's a barber.
Wow.
I got nephews that are barbers. I got, you know, nieces that are hairdressers. I mean, like,
So
it's a
the
whole
family.
line of us in the hair care business. You know?
Wow. So it's funny because I know a few episodes back we talked about that. We actually talked about this episode, Black Men in Therapy. Shout out to those guests that was on that particular podcast. Man, it was so crazy, Mr. JT, because we talked about how black men coming into a barbershop, this is actually our safe space.
Absolutely. Back in the day, we did a lot of things was solved in barbershops. I mean, you had, you know, politicians would come and, you know, and actually talk to the people and find out what was going on in the communities.
Yeah.
A lot of the religious backgrounds, all that stuff started in barbershops, and you would actually hold services sometime in the back of barbershops, you know. Now also they had other things going on in barbershops back in the day.
I understand.
But you know, a lot of our heritage came out of the barbershops. You know, when they had issues going on in the community, a lot of times it would take place or would be resolved in barbershops back in the day. So you know, it has a lot of things that the barbershop is responsible for.
So as you know, I've been just a part of this particular connection for quite some time now. Like I said, back in 2016, you gave me the opportunity to travel with you all to Atlanta. As everyone knows, you are Mr. Steve Harvey's, you was his barber for quite some time.
Yeah.
For somebody who's saying, I want to become a celebrity barber, what does that look like? And can you walk us through the journey of you being Mr. Steve Harvey's barber for quite some time?
Okay. So one of the questions that I got quite a bit would be, how did I become Steve Harvey's barber? And the question, the answer I give them a lot of times is that I never set out to be Steve Harvey's barber or anybody's barber in particular. I just set out to be the best barber that I could be.
Oh, that's a gem.
And so what I tell people, if you're the best at anything, then people will come looking for you. And so in spite of what people think, like, I pursued Steve to become his barber or whatever, Steve actually came looking for me. Steve happened to be in Arlington, Texas one day, actually performing. And he said he was asking people around town who was the best barber. And so he said that my name kept coming up, from different people. So he decided to come by and get a haircut from me. And then whenever he would be in town, he would come by and get a haircut, And so eventually he came to me one day and said, hey, man, I want to take you with me, to do my hair for television. And so, of course, I told him no at first, because, I had a shop at the time. I had a wife and kids, and all this stuff was going on. I was like, I can't do that. And so he said, well, I'm prepared to give you $500 a haircut right now, cut my hair. You think, this 40 years ago, so that was a lot of money.
That's
right?
a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
So I said, no, I can't do it, man. I said, I just, I'm here. I got a lot of stuff going on. I need to be here. He said, well, okay, what about $1,000 haircut? And I was like, well, no. I said, I'm not making no $1,000, being here and all that. But, I got a lot of other obligations that, that would keep me here.
Sure.
He said, okay, I can understand that. He said, what about $1,500 a haircut? Come on, man. I say, so you gonna give me $1,500 a haircut, man? He's like, yeah, and I'll fly you out and I'll pay for everything and put you, you won't be out at no expense. I only need you for a couple of days. And
so you mean to tell me he went from $500 to $1,500 for one cut?
For one cut. And at the time, I think maybe I could have got $2,000. But anyway.
Yeah. You probably could. You probably could.
No, but I'm just saying. But pretty much we stopped there. Because I was like, well, that's pretty decent. So let me just check with the family and see what they think about it and all that stuff. And so that's kind of like how it all started. So, a lot of people ask me that because they're trying to find out what is the blueprint to becoming, a celebrity barber. And I tell them, just be the best barber that you can be first. You know what I'm saying? If you're the best at anything, I don't care if you're the best bricklayer, if you're the best, lawn guy or whatever it is, construction guy, whatever. If you're the best, then people will find you, because your work will perceive you. So people will say, hey, if you're looking for somebody you're looking for a great haircut, go see this guy AP.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to be there, he's going to do this, he's going to do all these things. So they give them all the reason why they should come to see you. And you never had to say anything to anybody. You're just doing what you're supposed to do.
And you said something that's so mind-blowing. Most barbers in today's industry would have took $500.
Oh, absolutely.
And not only that, you turned it down when he initially came and approached you with this opportunity.
Right.
Man, that speaks a lot about you.
Right.
And it says a lot about, what you represent.
Right.
A lot of barbers I know personally, they're DMing these guys, their haircuts.
Right.
They're throwing themselves at, these celebrities. But you said something powerful. Just be the best that you can be.
Right.
And whoever and whatever opportunity comes, they're going to come find you rather than you looking for.
They're going to come find you. Because how many times have you had substandard things done? For instance, let's say like plumbing work. So you get this guy because his price, right? He got the best price, but then you get the worst service, right? And then you try another guy maybe for his price, but then you get the worst service. At some point, you say, hey man, I just need to know who is the best plumber around here. You know what I'm saying? They'll say, well, they got this guy AP, but he's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't care what he costs. I just need the best guy. And so that's what happens. So people got money for the best. That's why they have, $50 million houses and, $2 billion yachts and, $50 million planes, because people got money for the best. All you got to do, if you want to be in the best situation with celebrities or whatever, just be the best at what you do. And the money will come. You don't have to worry about that,
when we were in Atlanta, back in, I think it was 2016, I sat down and had a conversation with you. And you said that literally you were making crazy money. But you mentioned something about the Kings of Comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So were you on set at the Kings of Comedy as well?
Yeah. So what happened is when I started working with Steve, at that time he was doing Steve Harvey show. He was approached by a guy named Walter Latham about doing this tour where he had all headliners on it. So basically, Steve was a headliner, Bernie Mac was a headliner, Cedric Entertainer was a headliner. All these people were actually headlining when they went out on their own, right? Mm-hmm. So he said he had this idea of putting all headliners on the show.
Wow.
And so at the time I was, Steve Harvey's barber and Cedric's barber as well, because Cedric's on the same show with Steve Harvey show. So I was doing Steve, Cedric, and Marilyn Santana on the show at the time. And so when they came to him with the idea, after they got it all together, so we started touring. So when we went out, I was already doing Steve and Ced. And so Bernie was like, "Oh man, who's doing y'all here?" And he's like, JT is doing it. And he was like, "Okay, well, how much y'all paying him?" And he was like, "Well, we pay him $1,500. He was like, "Okay, I pay him $1,500. And so,
hold on. So, Mr. JT,
mm-hmm.
So all of them were paying you $1,500 a cut.
Started out paying $1,500, so it would be times when I would do Ced, Steve, and Bernie, or whoever's on the tour, and I could literally make $9,000, $6,000. Just kind of depends on what was going on. On the tour, how many people was there. It was just crazy money, man.
So, man, what was going through your mind? Making that kind of money.
Well, at the time, I don't really know what was going on because, first of all, I never did it for the money necessarily. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. It's just that I was just, like I say, just trying to be the best barber I could be. Mm-hmm. It just so happened that after Steve was willing to pay me $1,500, and other people saw the value. I guess they said, "Well, Steve paying it, then it must be worth $1,500." And I believe that it was not just the haircut itself. It's that they know they can depend on me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be dressed professionally. I'm going to talk professionally. But the whole time, I don't have to worry about me making them look bad. So if you're a person that's, prestige this guy like these people were, you don't want somebody hanging out with you, smoking weed, drunk all the time, late for the service, all these different things that you need, late for the plane, late checking out, all these type of issues going, causing fights, causing all this stuff while they're on the road. All that stuff makes you look bad. And so it's worth it to them to pay for somebody they know doesn't bring all that stuff to the table. If that makes sense to you.
It does. So what was your conversations like with these celebrities while cutting? You got to talk.
Well, I got all kind of conversations. Sometimes it'll be about the personal stuff that's going on. Sometimes it'll be about what's going on, in the world. I mean, it depends on what the conversation was,
That makes sense.
That had going on at the time. But I mean, basically, like anybody else, people confide in you as their barber. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I got everything from going on to the marriage, to girlfriends, to business or whatever. All that stuff happens, which it's no different. I mean, at the end of the day, we're barbers, and barbers, we almost like psychiatrists.
We everything.
We're financial advisors.
All the things.
All those things.
All those things.
Marriage counselors.
Yes, sir.
You get all that kind of stuff when people sit in your chair. So, you get it on all levels, I guess.
And it's funny because lately in my career, I've been in the game not as long as you. Mm-hmm. You're way ahead of me when it comes down to experience. However, I've been in the game 15 years altogether, professionally and all the things. Mm-hmm. And in my latter year of just my career, I found I'm having great conversations with my clients. Mm-hmm. They're sharing certain things that, when I first got into the game, it wasn't as intense.
Right.
It was just like I'm the new guy trying to get my feet wet. Right. Being a good cutter and a good barber, as you would say.
Yes, sir.
But now it's like they are coming to get an experience, as we mentioned before. Right. And not only are they coming to get an experience, but sometimes, again, they need to talk.
They need to talk, right. And they need the whole thing. And that's what they're paying for. Like I said, we talked about earlier, is the difference between Four Seasons and, the Motel 6.
Yes.
It's, the whole experience,
Yes.
I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, you're trying to come somewhere and lay down, go to sleep, and then get up in the morning, feel rested, and get on to whatever your day consists of. Mm-hmm. But you do pay more money because you expect the experience. So if you're paying $400, $500, $600 or more a night for a hotel, I mean, why would you do that when you can get the same thing over here? It's because of the experience that comes with it. The people, when you come into the hotel, first, the hotel is going to be nice and clean, right? And the people dress professional. Everybody in there is Mr. Mr. AP, kind of help you. All these professional things that go along. The room is going to look a certain way. The service, you can call downstairs and say, can I get this? All the things that goes with that is what you're paying for. You know what I'm saying? Your car pulled around for you. You know, it's ready for to open the door. All that is part of that $600. You know what I'm saying? That you're paying for a night. And it's not going to happen in motels. If you get up here, you got to get your own bags out. You got to put it up. You know, the room probably going to be like this. You know what I'm saying?
Motel 6 is only going to leave the light on for you. Is what you're saying.
The light will be on. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And so that's the same thing. So when a person started paying $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, $3,500 for a haircut, they don't want just a haircut. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you coming there smell like weed. They don't want you coming there smell like alcohol. They don't want you talking about what you did at the strip club the night before.
For sure.
They want your undivided attention, right? They want the whole time you're there to be focused on what their needs are and make sure they feel comfortable and really feel great about what they just paid for.
Absolutely.
And that's our job to give them that.
So you and I know we kind of talked about this, but were you nervous cutting on a high level like
that? Initially. You know, because I'm thinking about when I first went to LA, you know, my work is going to be on television, on film. So people get a chance to sit there. You know, it's not like guys sitting in the chair and it's just the people in here, they walk away and they go in the club. Nobody knows who did it or whatever. Right. It's no big deal, but it's, you know, like my name is in the credits, so it's going to show. Wow. You know, hair by, James Thomas or whatever, all that stuff. So people can actually look at the haircut. Let me see the sign. Let me see this. All that. So I was concerned about this. So every day, it was a certain amount of pressure on me to make sure that I did do my absolute best every time, which I do it anyway. But still, that extra pressure to knowing that a person has a chance to critique you, mm-hmm. On a national or world level. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so it was some pressure there at first.
Yeah, this is a great conversation because there are so many in our community that we're building. Mm-hmm. They want to know what is it like to be on a high level, mm-hmm. to cut on a high level, experience all of what comes with being with a celebrity, whether you are Steve Harvey or Drake mm-hmm. or whoever.
Right, absolutely.
For me, I'm just imagining what you were like during that time. Mm-hmm. Give me some of the things that you've experienced while on set or even being a part of. Mm-hmm. When you think about the Kings of Comedy, mm-hmm. I have not seen anything close to it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a staple.
Right, absolutely.
So you were a part of the Kings of Comedy. What was like one takeaway that you would say, man, this experience was a game changer for me?
I think traveling with them maybe on the bus, private planes, when you actually get to see these guys all interact with each other on more relaxed level. Uh-huh. They get to be themselves, because it's just us in that environment and, controlled environment. So, they get to talk trash, they're playing cards, they're talking noise, about each other, all that type of stuff. They get to have, mm-hmm. see them interact like that was really was amazing that, to get all that for free. You know what I'm saying? People are paying top dollars to go see these guys interact, or whatever they're doing on the film, but get to see them firsthand, being themselves, relaxing, really having a great time. Man, that was a lot, to experience. Yeah,
I can only imagine the laughs that you got to.
Man, it's crazy. Because the thing that people don't understand is that even though you got Cedric, Steve, and Bernie, all these guys on the plane, bus, whatever, together, but some of their crew members were just as funny or funnier than them. Wow. You know what I'm saying? The guys that was hanging out with them, so it was really, really crazy.
So it was a real comedy tour.
It was a real comedy tour, man. It was really, really exciting to see that and experience that for free.
For free. For being the best barber.
For being the best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I like about you, Mr. JT? You're humble. Mm-hmm. When I first approached you with some of the things that I was trying to do, mm-hmm. I mean, you really received me and just kind of gave me an opportunity. Mm-hmm. We wrote a book back in 2015, 16, mm-hmm. And we did a book tour. This was actually one of our stops. Mm-hmm. And so we really built a relationship and kept in contact over the years. I'm honored and blessed to be, again, just being able to have a connection with you. Sometimes when you are on a high level, mm-hmm. some of these barbers get really arrogant. Mm-hmm. I see it on social media. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't even touch them. They look like the rappers now. Right. All the chains and treating this as if it's a hustle and mm-hmm. all the things. So do you think when you get to a certain level in this industry, does humility play a role in it?
I think so. 'Cause my thing has always been this, man. It's like, Yeah, it's great. Success is great, right? Because it enables you to do some things maybe you couldn't do when you were younger. Like for instance, I grew up in a small town in Mississippi.
Okay.
So to see the elevation of my life come from a little small town to be in Hollywood, all the lights and the private jets, the planes, and all the things that go with that, and it's a lot for someone to take on if they're not grounded, should I say. It's almost like being in a boat. If it's not anchored down, then it tends to drift off. I think what happens is with a lot of people that's in this industry, when they get success, that's what happens. They kind of drift off, and they don't really have anything to control them well. I'm spiritual based, so I always know that everything that I have, first of all, is not because of me. It's because of God's mercy and grace, to allow me to have that. So I never take that for granted, because I know just like gave it to me, it can be taken away.
Yes,
Does that make sense? So I never, say it's me. Oh, it's me. It's that. It's the grace and mercy that comes from Him.
I love
It allows me to achieve some of these things that I ask Him for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
and even when you ask Him, you don't really know how you're going to receive it. Like, you don't know how it's going to come. Sometimes it can be really, really tough to get there. Sometimes a little bit easier. Either way, it's not you. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it can be a test to see how you're going to handle this when I give this to you. So I give it to you. Oh, it's like, because at the end of the day, it's like we're a kid, right?
Yeah.
It's our Father, and He's testing us to see if you're going to be the man He thinks you're going to be when I give you these things. I give you the keys to my car. I give you the keys to my house. Leave you here alone. All those things that He gives you, it's a test sometimes. And so it depends on how you handle it, whether you get to continue to receive these things that He allows you to have. If that makes sense.
That's a word.
And so that's why. And that comes from wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And being faith based and understand that everything is
It's not by your own power.
it's not by your own power.
I understand, because me being a little younger, and I'm looking at where the industry, the direction that it's going, and I try to exercise humility, professionalism, because you got a lot of barbers coming behind me that can literally cut circles around me.
Absolutely.
They could do all of the different designs and things that I probably cannot do.
Yeah,
and
I not even desire to do.
you know how it is. Once you get to a certain point, some of those things, when you first come in, you're hungry.
Yeah.
You starving. You're learning how to do the designs. You're learning how to dye the hair. Some of these new barbers think that they are the first to invent some of these things.
Right.
True enough, some things we haven't seen before based on social media.
Social media, and then just everyday things evolve. So you're getting better products, different things that we weren't even able to have at the time because they didn't exist, right? So all these enhancements, all these things they're doing is making what they call it, with the pictures, they make an enhancement on the pictures, all these
Photoshop,
things, all this stuff, make your work look better than it is. So even if you're not the best barber, you can sell it like you are, So all those things are available that wasn't available to us maybe at the time. But not to take anything away from the people here, because we got some really, really talented barbers out there.
100%.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not about showcasing. It's about showing people, like helping them to get to the next level. Like that's what I get out of it now. That's why I'm here right now in the first place, running the school. Could I have made more money being out on the road still with Steve? Absolutely. Matter of fact, when I left, he was like, "Hey man, you're gonna go open up a school? Like, what does that pay?" And I was like, "It's not even about the pay. It's about what I want to do." And it's like you're doing what you want to do right now.
So you have a burning desire to give back,
I always
and
have.
to help.
Always had. This has always been a goal of mine, And like I told him, it was never a goal of mine to become a celebrity barber. It was not on my radar. It's just that it was maybe the path that God took me on for whatever reason, maybe to get me back here, to be able to help people. Maybe people would be more willing to listen to me because of what I've done. But it was never. I asked for one thing. God sent me this way, maybe to get me back to here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That's good.
But at the end of the day, I inspired to do this. I never inspired to be a celebrity barber.
So again, you said it found you. You didn't go looking for it.
Right, I didn't go looking for it.
So did you have, I like to say this, sometimes when we talk about success, I say success leave clues.
Right.
Like along the way, you see little glimpses of it.
Right.
Did you see little glimpses of success leading up to the call from Steve Harvey or other celebrities that you had an opportunity to
and when you say success, like I say, you have to define success.
Okay.
Because success could be whatever it is that is successful to you. Right?
Yes, sir.
So to me, my success was the things that I asked for, which was to be a barber, right? To be the best barber, right? And to own the school and those type of things I asked for. Now, all these other things happen along the way, as you say. I didn't know that I had to go all the way around to be a celebrity barber, travel all around the world, and then come back to own the school. I didn't know that. Because I was thinking like, I go become a barber, I save my money up, and then at some point I come back and I'm able to purchase a school, right?
Sure.
I didn't know when I asked God to become a barber, a barber school owner. He was saying, okay, I'm gonna give you a barber school, but what you got to do, you got to travel.
Yeah.
You got to travel 26 years on the road with celebrities, do all this other stuff you got to do, and then I give that to you.
Yes,
it's
sir.
almost like how your parents say, well, James, you can go to the ball game, but I need you to cut the yard, wash my car, and do all these things, and then you can go to
Yes, sir.
And so maybe that was his thing of saying, hey, because I think what they want to do is make you understand that things are not easy in life, and that's the reason why they make you do the things that you do, like your parents, and so of course God is Father. So I think that sometimes that He takes us through these things so that when we get there, we'll appreciate it and won't take advantage of it, and abuse it, right? And so I think that's maybe why I had to do all the things, because trust me, people who say they want to be a celebrity barber, do you really want to be a celebrity barber?
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking that. Give me something that you would say was most challenging.
Right.
Because we see lights and cameras.
Just to travel alone is challenging. I mean, because first of all, we're up early in the morning. We're on the set sometimes, 12, 13, 14 hours or longer, right? Then we may have to get on the plane like 2 hours later, fly somewhere else, right? Land there that morning, like basically trying to sleep on the plane, land there. As soon as we hit the ground, we got to get busy, get into the next set or whatever we're doing. There's been times when we only get an hour of sleep, hour and a half of sleep, and we like trying to sleep in the car, trying to sleep on the set for a few minutes.
Wherever
you
can get sleep.
Yeah, and sleep at the airport, whatever. And so it's very intense traveling. It's very intense hours, once you get where you're going. Like, I remember one time we flew from L.A. We left there like 12 midnight or something, 1 o'clock. We flew over to New York. We landed there. It was like 7 in the morning. We got there. We grabbed some breakfast. We had to go straight. Steve was doing the Apollo then. Straight to the set. Get on there. We had to do rehearsal, right? Rehearse, and then after that, of course, do the shows. We got to do back-to-back shows because that's how they do it. We might shoot 6, 7 shows a day.
Yeah.
It's 2 or 3 in the morning. By the time we finish, we go back to the hotel, lay down for about 4 or 5 hours, get up, eat breakfast, go back to the set, stay over there for 4 or 5 hours. Then, finish that. Then we get back on the plane, fly back to L.A. You know what I'm saying? All that's like 3 or 4 days. So it's a lot more
taxing.
It's
on your body. It's taxing.
Yeah, and then you get the weekend off, but sometimes the weekend is 1 day. You know what I'm saying?
And then you back at it.
You're right back at it again. So
some people you don't think that they built for this. Some barbers. I won't say people.
I put like this. It's more than a notion. You know what I'm saying? It's more than a notion. So yeah. But to whom much is given, much is required. I tell people that all the time. So you got to have your mind wrapped around that, because you may think like, okay, it's easy money. You get to hang out here. You make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a day. But trust me, you're gonna earn it. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna earn it.
So for the person that's watching, the barber that's in Barber College, we're here at your Barber College, and for those who are watching to say, I want to experience what it is to be on that celebrity level, what advice would you give them as it relates to how to get started and how to get going?
Well, like I said, once I said before, the first thing is to make sure that you are the best barber that you can be. When I said barber, it encompasses it all. Like say, dressing, talking, all the things professional tools. Make sure that you probably hygiene. All these things are. Because at the end of the day, you still represent being a barber. You know what I'm saying? You want to be professional. And then make sure that you're in good physical shape. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be spending a lot of hours moving around, sitting on sets, whatever you're doing. You're going to make sure that you're physically ready for this. Because it's more, like I said, it's more than a notion, Wow. Yeah.
So, man, there you have it. This is Mr. James Thompson himself, the author, the celebrity barber, the Barber College owner. Listen, if you want to become a barber, if you're aspiring to be on a high level, this is the Barber College right here in Fort Worth, Texas. Go ahead and give them how they can kind of get in contact.
So James Thomas, if you're interested in Barber College, Williams Barber College, you can reach us 817-335-9681 or go to williamsbarbercollege.com.
And that's it. This is More Than a Barber, another episode of an amazing, amazing opportunity to be with a celebrity barber. Let's go.